All right, Matt, it has been a year since we last talked, and a lot of things has been changed in PlanetSide too. So how has been your experience over the last year?
It's been great, man. We've been getting awesome feedback from our players. We've been able to improve the game in a variety of ways. We're continuing to add more stuff and add more content. So for me, it's been fantastic. We've had an incredible year. We've had not only our beta and then up through launch until now. It's been amazing.
Talking about new stuff you're implementing, we're currently seeing a new continent you're adding named Hossin. So what is the concept about that continent?
Well, Hossin is a continent from the original PlanetSide that a lot of our players were really excited that we were going to be adding to PlanetSide 2. It's a swamp continent, so it has a lot of very dense jungle area. It's very foggy. It creates some really interesting tactical options for players. Not only does it really switch up the way the air-to-ground interactions are because there's so much dense foliage and large canopied trees, but it also really exemplifies, I feel like, an excellent job of base building and level design on the continent. All the different outposts and facilities on the continent have really all the knowledge that we've gotten in the last year or so of building bases and facilities and getting feedback from players about it has really been taken into account on Hossin, and we think it's our best effort so far in terms of creating the perfect MMO FPS levels.
So we talked about this last year, but I want to remind guys about that. There is no automatic tool to generate landscape yet, is there?
No, not at all. This is just a lot of hard work. Hossin has been months and months and months of work. In fact, Hossin actually started before we launched the game, and it's been this long that we've been working on building it, among other things, of course. But yeah, it's a tremendous amount of effort. Each individual tree and bush, rock that you see on there has been purposely hand-placed in that location for not only just for the fidelity of gameplay to make sure that we have areas that just feel really, really good, but also for art style to make sure it looks good, it plays well, all those different aspects.
So you have been implementing the Harrasser lately, a new vehicle, and there has been some discussion about it being too strong, but you reacted fairly quickly. How do you do that? How do you react so quickly on stuff the player says?
Well, it's interesting because we play the game a lot too, right? It's not just a matter of players telling us something. Oh, everybody on the team is playing stuff. And we have internal playtest lists where people are giving feedback about, oh, I played last night and I thought this was too strong. So we had a lot of opinions from players and from even people internally that some things with the Harrasser were a little bit too powerful, or maybe it was a little bit too versatile. And we've changed some stuff with its durability. We've made it a little bit weaker, made its armor a little bit weaker, so it's a little easier to take out and not quite as much of a powerhouse as it was previously, and it's in a pretty good spot now.
So you're also utilizing a feature in development that is called the roadmap, that is pretty much unique for game development, or at least there's no other big player doing it. That is basically you let players decide what features you should implement first. How does that work out?
It actually works out amazing. For us as developers, so often you're working on building a new feature and you hardly have any idea whether this is something your players really want to see or whether the specific implementation that you're doing is something that your players really want. So Roadmap for us is a tool that not only allows our players to give us feedback about ideas and which ones are more popular by sorting these features on a list. We can say, oh, well, this one is something that players don't seem too into, so if we're going to drop something from this update, let's start here. Or we could look at something really long term, maybe something that we said was going to get finished in December, but it's so popular that maybe we try to get it done earlier or shift priorities around to get it done sooner. That's one aspect of Roadmap that's really useful, but underneath each one of these features is these massive discussion threads where we can actually read all about players' specific concerns with different individual aspects of the design. And that allows us to make sure that when we're developing these features, we're really taking into account all these different concerns that players have and ensuring that what we're delivering is exactly the thing that players want and that we're mitigating as many things that players might think would be bad in the design. So while we're still the ones who are actually writing up the initial designs for these systems and putting them up there and letting players vote on them, and the ideas are still right now coming at least from the dev team, those ideas, even at their core, are largely based on requests that players are making on Reddit or talking to us on Twitter or official forums or PlanetSide Universe or wherever we're hearing from players. And then they get to vote and we get to prioritize based on what our community wants, which as a game, PlanetSide 2 belongs to our players at this point. It's released, it's out there, and our job is to continue to service the desires of our players. And Roadmap for us as a two-way conversation tool is amazing. And it's something that I hope to see a lot more people start to use soon, because it's really an incredible tool for developers and for the community of players.
So you're basically suggesting that if a player is unhappy with the game experience, he should not instantly quit, but start a dialogue with you guys, and you're actually listening.
Yeah, I mean, as much as possible, we try to listen and respond to all the feedback we get. It's hard to do that sometimes when you get a big deluge of it, but at the very least, I know that if I'm getting 100 tweets a day from somebody, from a group of players talking about something, then that informs my idea of what people are interested in, and especially what people are passionate about. The roadmap tool is especially there for that. It's to allow us to have that kind of communication and really get a formalized way of communicating back and forth about upcoming features and upcoming additions to the game.
When you're playing PlanetSide, the fun really begins when you're joining an outfit. That what is basically the guild or a guild or a clan in PlanetSide. You're implementing a feature that makes outfit joining easier for the player. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, so we're adding outfit recruitment to the game. What you can do as an outfit leader is you can set up some criteria. I only want people who speak German and play between 5 and 10 p.m. and you need to be a tank driver and be battle rank 25 or higher. You can set up all these criteria for what your outfit's all about, and also a description of who you are and your logo and all that kind of stuff. And then players can actually go on and they can set their own filters. I'm looking for an outfit that wants pilots. I can set that as a filter, and then bam, right there I can look and see, oh, here's the outfits that are interested in what I'm going to be doing, and I can apply right from there. Outfit leaders will be able to see their applicants right in the game client now and approve or deny them based on that. So it should be a really cool way for players who maybe are more casual players and don't know how to find an outfit or wouldn't have thought to join one before, to be able to quickly find one that matches their play style and get them into the team play element of PlanetSide 2, which, as you said, is really what makes PlanetSide tick, is working together with your team and your friends to try to accomplish these goals. So getting players into outfits and getting them involved in the teamwork is critically important to us.
So with the content at Hossin and the Harrasser, you're implementing stuff that's not essentially new to PlanetSide veterans, that are actually assets that you had in PlanetSide 1. Following that route, can we expect some more stuff from PlanetSide 1 and PlanetSide 2, like caves, BFRs, stuff like that?
Well, caves and BFRs I don't know about, but we are trying to add as much PlanetSide into PlanetSide 2 as we can as we go along. We've talked a bit about our resource system redesign, having a lot of elements that would be familiar to PlanetSide 1 players as ant runs, that kind of gameplay, or even sort of LLU style gameplay, which PlanetSide 1 players would be kind of familiar with. Those type of additions are certainly things that we want to do in the future. And when you're making a game that you're expecting to last for 10 years, I mean, the sky's the limit. People ask all the time, are you guys going to add naval combat? What about spaceships, The answer's never no. The answer is, who knows? Maybe at some point in 2018, we're going to say, you know what? Naval combat time. Maybe it's sometime in 2015. It's when you're working on a game like this, it's really freeing as a designer to not have to close any doors off on things. We really have the ability to develop just about anything you can imagine into PlanetSide at some point in the future.
All right, awesome. So you're personally playing NC on the PlanetSide servers.
That's right.
And as a Terran player, I'm mostly interested in how can players find you to shoot you in the face?
I keep my character names secrets, strictly so that people don't really know where to get me. But I do play on the Connery server, so if you kill every single NC on there, you'll get me eventually.
All right, will do. Thank you, Matt, and have a great time on Gamescom.
Thanks, man. Auf Wiedersehen.